Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me here at Evolutionary Energy Arts. Once again, we have a discussion today on Kundalini. So, do you know that you have the potential to have superpowers? You didn't know that? You're kidding. Well, according to the ancient Hindu and Tantric texts, you do. It's just simply dormant, lying in the base of your spine. Have you ever heard of the word Kundalini? Kundalini means serpent energy, literally, and it's energy that resides in the base of the spine, just waiting to be awakened. It's evolutionary energy. I became acquainted with it about 35 years ago, reading a book called Kundalini by Gopi Krishna. And it's called Kundalini, the Evolutionary Energy in Man, because it's in all of us, by Gopi Krishna. And it's basically a story of what he went through in his search for Kundalini, which happened uh, quite prematurely in his case, which left him a little bit disconcerted and unrooted. And he just gives a good explanation of what to expect and what he went through. It's really an amazing account and a great book. Some of the abilities you could get, there are so many different abilities that come around with Kundalini, but primarily it's going to be ones of increased psychic ability. Such things as being able to see into the future, being able to read other people's minds, being able to see energy, being able to move energy, to actually manipulate energy and call energy into being just by using your concentration. There are cases of yogis that are able to bilocate, be in one place physically and then show up and be physically in a second place as well. So really, there are some amazing things that have been attributed to Kundalini. Just touching base on the nadi system. Nadis are energy channels for the flow of subtle energy. There's 72,000 nadi channels. The three most important are the Sushumna, the Ida, and the Pingala. The Ida, which is represented by the moon, it's feminine energy, and you draw that energy in with the left nostril, which governs the right hemisphere of the brain. It's also mental energy and basically everything feminine. So if you're familiar with the Chinese system, it's yin. Pingala is represented by the sun. It's more intense, it's masculine, it's inhaled through the right nostril, and it governs the left hemisphere of the brain. And then we have the Sushumna, which is the spiritual awakening channel. It's the central channel along the spinal column. And if you're familiar with Qigong or the Chinese system, this would relate more to the governing channel. The nadis start at Muladhara, crossing over the chakras, terminating at the Anja chakra. So basically, they start down at the root chakra and they cross, going back and forth. And they go all the way up to the third eye area and then come back down. And you could connect them with the yoga of breath. And breathing is so important in Qigong and in yogic practices because that is what connects us to our higher self. That is what governs life itself. And this is a representation of the Kundalini lying dormant in the base of the spine. And as you stir and wake up this energy, you will feel warmth in the sacrum. You will feel stirring, actual movement in the sacrum. And the longer you work with it, you will feel that movement start to go up the lumbar spine. It'll flow from the sacrum, flow up through like L5, L4, L3, L2, L1, and then start to go up into the thoracic, starting at T12 and climbing on up. And eventually it'll come up and overflow through the crown chakra. So you can see the Pingala and the Ida as the energy flows upwards. Do you recognize that symbol? Have you ever seen this symbol before? It's the symbol you'll see with the American Medical Association. It's a symbol that doctors have used forever, and just the whole medical profession going back to the times of ancient Greece. And there's a reason for that, because again, we have the Ida and the Pagala with the Sushumna going on up. And when it overflows the crown, it gives us wings. We're able to astrally travel in our energy body or our light body, if you've ever heard of that, our Merkaba, according to the the Hebrew tradition, Judaic tradition. And you could also see references to the Kundalini even in the Bible. And, there are subtle references to it in so many other philosophies as well. And here you see Adam and Eve tempted by Satan to eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, and then driven away from the garden so they could not eat of the tree of life and live forever and basically be a god. And here you could see how it flows again. And then if we focus in on this down lower, if you were looking upward, like if you were at the feet and watching it flow upward, you would see this crisscross pattern look like this. And what does that look like? It's the same spiral shape of galaxies. There is an old axiom, as above, so below, and there's a good reason for that. And this is Shiva and Shakti, which are like divine feminine and masculine energies. And over here, we're also looking at the chakras in the earth, because the earth has chakras. And you've probably seen these flow lines here too. There are also ley lines in the chakras of the earth, which are well known. Those are energetic lines that are very similar to nadis and energy channels. And if you notice too, the chakras are at sacred points in the earth, and there's a reason for that, because these are energetic vortexes. These are places where the earth is drawing in life force at a very high level. And the earth is a living and breathing being on different levels. Every planet, every star, they're all alive. They're all consciousness, just on a different wavelength than ours. If you were to look at a person at their core, they would look like a star. And what is a torus? Because this is a general shape in which things are made. Basically, you can make a torus by rolling a rectangle into a tube and then bending it into a loop. The sun gives off positive and negative waves, and they are in the shape of a torus. And you can see it's like a figure 8, which is the symbol for eternity as well. The universe itself is thought to be the shape of a torus. And so is the human body's energy system, with the Ida and the Pingala and the energy from the Sushumna coming out through the top. It creates an energetic flow that becomes a torus when we are fully conscious. Again, as above, so below. Everything in the universe is fractal in nature. There's patterns that contain the whole. And this is Shiva and Shakti united into one being. And that is really the goal. We are to unite our energies and become one and whole again. People have heard the legends of and stories about soulmates or even twin flames. Two souls cut from the same material and split apart forever looking for the other half. And then when they meet, it's just cosmic bliss and unity once again. Now, how do you initiate Kundalini? Well, there are practices. Basically, you're going to have to meditate. There's different forms of meditation. But one thing we always do is we first breathe alternately through each side of the nostrils, awakening the Ida and awakening the Pingala. You could use a mantra, and this is a Kundalini Yoga mantra. Rama Dasa Sase So Hung. And when you say it, you just don't say it. You have to vibrate it. You have to feel it. So when you say sa, it's more of a sa. You draw it out and you vibrate it and you feel it. So the Ra would be starting at the root chakra. And we go on up through the 7 major chakras. As you go up, each one of those sounds is going to awaken with them in sequence. And then when you get to So Hung, you visualize the energy flowing out the crown and the golden light and encasing you in a torus of golden energy. Of course, this takes time. It's something that doesn't happen right away the first time you do it. Although everybody is different, and some people progress much, much faster than others. But you're going to have to put in the time, the effort, and the work in the meditation. You could also look at the Shri Yantra and meditate on that. The Shri Yantra can spontaneously induce Kundalini. It's an ancient symbol. Then you could also do the breath of fire. This creates tremendous energy down in the lower abdomen and down in the root chakra. And in the Chinese philosophies, what you're doing too is you're basically overfilling your lower dantian. And when it rises, you will know it, you will feel it. And as it rises, you'll be changed. Things will just change. Your perception will change. You will start to see energy around people. You'll start to see auras. You'll start to see beings that are on different dimensions, where you will actually see something pass in front of you sometimes. And you'll think, am I seeing things? No, you're just being able to tune into a bigger wavelength. Reality is like, think of it as a radio. And basically, when you are not tuned in with Kundalini, you're on a very limited channel. When your Kundalini is flowing, now all of a sudden you can move through different frequencies and you can access other channels that are right there the whole time. You just were not able to access them. So these are some of the things that could happen with Kundalini. And there are tons of YouTube videos that will run you through how to activate your Kundalini. Honestly, I think this is one of the greatest conspiracies that has been kept from us, because we have been kept in the dark in most society about this. It has not been the case in the Hindu and Tantric traditions, and also in the Western mystery tradition. But in the Western mystery tradition, it's a mystery tradition. So you have to be initiated into different secret societies to find these things out. Until before recent times, you had to. Now you don't. Now the information is out there. It's just out there for everybody to see. Well, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you will go deeper into Kundalini Yoga and to Kundalini itself and practice some of these techniques and see what you can do. You will be amazed if you give it some energy and some effort and some consistency. Please like, share, and subscribe to my video channel on YouTube. And I look forward to seeing you all again. Thank you so much. Take care.